to the cloud. Aha. Okay. So how is everyone doing? We have some issues coming up and we'll discuss that, but otherwise, how's everyone doing personally?
Great.
Right?
Yep.
Okay.
It's the new four-letter word, Shirley. Fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Because I've asked Sheryl Forster to take notes for me, I like to take roll who's here. So
So you want roll?
yeah, if you could take roll, it's important that we know who's
Okay.
here. So we have two people from Hawaii. Let's see. From ID, wherever it is. Send a meeting ID to Patty Redford. Okay. Patty, if you could send me your email, I will invite you right now. Send me your email address. Okay, so we have Patty Redford, Teresa Frank from Olympia, Susan Johnston. Susan, can you just put in what chapter you're with? Because I have the lovely Sheryl Forster writing down who's from where, but she has not memorized.
I'm a past Susan Johnson. Are there two of us? Because I'm Susan Sharp, really.
Oh, okay. Redford.
This Susan Johnson is from Pacific Northwest
All right.
and
Oh,
Olympic, but I'm
Yeah.
Dorothy
Oh.
Duchesne is able to
Oh, it's
join us
Johnston.
tonight.
Yeah.
Of other PNW members.
Okay.
Susan, where are you from?
Pacific Northwest.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Shirley,
Yes.
I think if you press on participants, it'll list everybody who's here.
Yes, but not, that's true, but not which chapters they're from.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and I need to know that. Okay, Patty, I just sent you from my Gmail account.
Inland Northwest.
And then I'm really very proud of all of you. Thank you so much for putting your full first and last name, except for Karen.
Well, I didn't, this is my first time and I didn't know how to do that. So I'm from Pacific Northwest chapter.
Karen, what's your last name?
Our AUER.
Pacific Northwest.
Hi, Karen.
Okay, so thank you so much. I just did that. I have two people in chat and then we'll get started. Okay, working on iPad connection. Okay, great. All right, so ladies, another reason I'm taking roll is to see how the 6 o'clock works. So we're, I'm hoping this will be successful and this will also be recording the meeting here. Everyone got a copy or able to get a copy of the agenda? If not, the agenda is only 4 items, so it's not too bad. Karen, did you get one?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. All right, so the first thing on the agenda, happy spring, by the way, document retention. And so we did kind of briefly go over that, but it's worth making a note of it, especially for people this first time attending. I just want to reiterate that I got final permission, and thanks to Karen Geringer for having me recommit. Karen, I did check with them and they did say yes, you can safely shred. Again, you can safely shred all chapter project books, including the CDs. Shall I repeat that? Yes, safely shred them. All of them are online. All of them have been digitized. The earlier ones, they're not going to redo, by the way. You know how in the early years you had, the photocopy, or there was not computerized, everything was like handwritten. They're not going to redo that. What they did was the original, digitized everything. Okay.
And how many years does that go back? No, does it go back to the 90s or is it 2005?
1987.
Okay.
That's the first year it started, but everything, including, maybe 1980 6, there was a couple things, it was a kind of pilot things. But trust me, I got final permission. Woo, to all the program chairs, right? Yay! Woo! Okay, so clear out your closet, ladies. I don't know what you want to do with those binders. But
Send them to
you want
you.
to donate it to some children. I don't know. I don't care. Do whatever you want with them. Okay, so any questions about that? I think those are good news. It's a good news. Now let's talk about the minutes.
Yeah.
Chapter minutes, and you also have board minutes. Okay, everybody ready?
Patty.
Okay, so I did talk it over with an IRS agent. As you know, I have a daughter who's an IRS agent, and we talked about retention for nonprofits. So her recommendation, whether you have an EIN number or not, whether you are formally recognized or not as an incorporated chapter, the best practice is the last 7 years. Just keep the last 7 years. That's the best practice for any perceived audits, if you ever get audited or anything like that. Now, on the other hand, with your minutes before you dump them, there's a lot of history in them. There's a lot of history on when you voted for certain historical items, for, doing, like, for instance, kneelers in churches, or, if you did, like we did the city seal, approving for special events, or whatever, or having teachers over. So my recommendation is that someone goes through, get the history, and then shreds the rest. Unless you want to keep them all, it's up to you, but I would say you can shred up to the last 7 years.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, any questions about that?
One,
Yes.
Shirley,
Yes,
when I was reading all the business about records retention for nonprofits, the
Right.
one thing that stood out was for board meetings, they were saying that you had to keep those in perpetuity, but it never addressed things like chapter minutes, anything like that.
are you talking about?
And I'm wondering, does that just mean maybe National has to keep all board minutes forever?
It's board minutes
But
because,
maybe the local chapters don't have to keep their board minutes?
no,
Okay, so just 7 years, period.
right.
What about attendance lists?
Why would you need them from 1987?
Well, you know what? I think you only need them for a year and then done.
I mean, what would you need? I mean, it would be good to do an analysis, like how many members have attended the last 10 years.
Right.
You could look at numbers. You can, I mean, I'm a numbers person. You
Yeah.
can derive, did you get more attendance at one location versus another?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But other than that, a lot of chapters don't take attendance,
Right.
and some do, and unfortunately our ladies have passed away.
Yeah.
So it's up to you.
Okay.
I don't see the need for it unless someone else want to speak up and say, is there a need for attendance, keeping that forever?
I would
Yeah.
say just the attendance associated with the past 7 years and the rest.
Yeah.
can go.
Well, that'd be part of the minutes. Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
would say that.
What
I-
about chapter newsletters?
I don't think you really need to keep them,
Okay.
really. I think I'll keep the last 7 years. I mean, the chapter
Okay.
newsletter is also a font, though, of historical information.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so,
It's also, Shirley,
yes,
it's Juana from Inland Northwest.
yes,
I belong also to another guild, and we're scanning in the old newsletters, and they do have a wealth of information in them.
yes, yes.
And so, by scanning them in, you're not carrying around a box.
No, it's a file storage drive. And
Yeah,
that's my next thing is about where do you store the digitized files? Okay.
Mhm.
So that's another one too, because it's on someone's laptop and suppose the laptop is gone. Do I mean, how do you get a hold?
Save it to a USB?
Yeah, so no,
Oh.
not necessarily. And we've had, and I hate to say it, I belonged to a chapter many years ago whose board member refused to share the files. Okay,
Oh,
it's a pussy
did
cat.
that happen?
You
And
always gotta
that's
have
about
one.
10 years ago. Okay, so yeah. So in any case, Awana is absolutely right. You want to digitize everything. So even we digitize the minute meetings because we type them up, right now we're typing them up on laptops. You can still, shred whatever's there. I'm talking about physical files for the moment. And then once we deal with that, we're going to veer into digital files. So physical files, everyone's cool with that.
Mhm.
All right.
Yep.
for now? Okay. So digitally, I would personally digitize all the newsletters. I mean, it's not that many, in terms of computer bits, it's really very little, even 30 years worth of a newsletter,
Yeah.
4 pages. It's not like thousands of reams of spreadsheets that you do for clients, you know what I mean? Like Microsoft or something,
Can you do that automatically, or is this, we're talking about sitting at a scanner?
You have to sit at a scanner. Now,
Yeah.
you could do is and if you want to pay for it, maybe when someone will be willing to donate or the chapter has enough funds, you go to Kinko's or I shouldn't say, is Kinko still around? Staples, and they have those scanning machines. Do I mean? So you can just scan it, you just have to pay for it. Or you didn't hear it from me, but if you have someone who has an office and they have a scanning machine in their office, maybe go after work one day,
Yeah.
scan it, because it's really not a lot to scan. Do I mean?
Shirley,
What?
you could,
I'm-
many people have, the all-in-one printer.
Yeah.
The all-in-one printers
Right,
have scanners.
right.
And that's how I've been doing it.
Okay, great. Susan Johnson?
As a computer scientist, I feel honor bound to answer that every librarian, every organization is coping with the fact that digitizing, and scanning is not a permanent record because we lose the tools to be able to read them.
Yep.
Right.
So
That's
it's
right.
really up to the organization what we want to do, but do be aware that it is not an in perpetuity solution.
I know, look at
And-
VHS tapes, my dear. Look at CDs,
Zip
or tape
drives.
recorders. And I have an 8-year-old niece who have no idea what a tape recorder is. Susan is
Yeah.
absolutely right. So that gets into my next thing. So, all right.
She paid me to say
I
it.
know she did. Yes, that's an excellent segue. Where do you want to keep them, right? And also, you don't want to keep them on a personal computer because, hold on, we have someone who's not been, has to be properly named. Hi, welcome. Your name is Home. Can you rename yourself and what chapter you're with? When you hear me? Okay. Yeah, your screen name is Home. Can you just rename? Do you know how to do that?
No, how do you do it?
You click on you click over your name, just click over and it says rename, and you just simply do that. Your first and last name and your chapter. Thank you. So okay, let's get back to this. So Susan is right. Digital is not everything perfect because we do lose the tools. That's why a lot of police departments and FBI, oh never mind, I segued in there, but they do have like beta machines and everything. So some chapters have enough funds to have a subscription to Dropbox. Dropbox is like an online file, it's like a file cabinet. And then you allow certain people have access to the file cabinet, but you pay for it. Okay, that's one method. Another method, which I've been trying to search or have not gotten an answer, National has, there is associated an ability to put files onto each chapter's account,
Oh.
their needlepoint.org, and it's only accessible to the board members. That's why when you put in a car, let's say Karen Farrell's no longer president and there's Shirley Chen now, they'll take her off. She can't access them, but Shirley does. So that's a good thing, right?
Mhm.
And that helps out. But unfortunately, they have not gotten back to me about that. I'll have to follow them up. They were supposed to, they thought it was a good idea and to also look up and do instructions for everybody. But that was a month ago. So I'm going to follow up on that with them.
Shirley,
Yes.
this is Juana again. We have stored our standing rules and our chapter bylaws out on our file for our chapter.
For the needlepoint.org?
Yeah.
Well, that's really cool because can you later on, I'm going to talk to you offline, Awana.
Okay.
What we're going to do is maybe we can make our own set of instructions, screw national, and then we're going to send it out to everybody. Okay.
Sure.
So, because one, it's free,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
It's free and it's again accessible to only the current board members listed in the current CAR, chapter of, and it's permanent in a sense as long as needlepoint.org moves it. Another
Okay, I
What?
think it's actually available to all chapter members.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay, you know what? We'll have to
Nice.
test it
I know, offline.
offline. Why don't we test it? Even if it is, not all our members know how to get there.
Yeah.
Okay, let me be honest about this. Right? And is there anything in there that is so emotionally damaging? Right?
Too
Okay,
bad.
think about it, right? I mean, everyone got a copy of the newsletter, so no big fig.
Mhm.
The members have approved the board minutes, right? Or the
Mhm.
chapter minutes in the budget. So
Minutes.
it's confidential. I mean, like HR, there's no HR stuff. We don't have to worry about HIPAA or anything. So, okay, so I'm going to talk to
So
Juana.
can I
Fine.
suggest something?
this,
So
Patricia?
this is Joan from
Oh, Joan.
Honolulu.
Oh, okay.
From Aloha A&G. So there are only certain areas of the website that are available to officers, like membership.
Right.
Is it possible to store that similar capability in that same area? So only officers, I don't know if that's asking too much of national to set up something like that.
Well, Joan, I thought they did that
Can't change
already.
it.
So let's
Okay,
get back.
If somebody else goes in there, they can't change it.
Right.
To test it out.
So you're not president anymore, Joan.
yeah,
Right? Someone else is president, so you can't have access anymore. They changed the access. The
Right.
problem is I have such a high access, I can't tell. So I'm going to have to talk to one of you guys and see, work with me through the access. So I'll tell you what, Juana is on the board for her
Hmm.
chapter. Let us play and we'll get back to
okay,
it. Now,
okay.
if anyone else would like to play with me, yes, Karen, then let
Okay.
me know. We could do it
And-
separately.
And actually, what would it matter if every chapter member had availability to old minutes, old newsletters, and old board
Right.
minutes? It's not the chapter project book, which is which is only available to officers. We already know that. But there really isn't, I don't see any problem with those things being available to all the members of the chapter.
Right. But the thing is that we want to know what the limitations, we want to know what the limitations of the website is already. So if it opens to everybody, then unless you really have a heartburn, I agree with Karen. There's nothing in there that would mess us up, but we'll see. So right now it's in the early stages. We'll chat some more. Patricia Peters from Mount Tam. Hi, Patricia. You are muted. Just press the space bar and you'll be unmuted.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Okay. Because we can't hear you. Patricia, we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
There, now we can hear you.
Here we are.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It took me 20 minutes to get in and I did have a couple of questions. Our
Sure.
member chairman wants to know, let's say person A had not paid their A&G dues
Mhm.
and membership chairman reminded them that to be a member of a chapter, you have to pay in, and they notify us that, yes, I went in now and paid my Angie dues. Fine. She goes in, she looks, there's person A is a member. She goes to Mount Tam and the person doesn't show up on the Mount Tam
You have to go.
list
by.
as being a member, even though the person is a member of Mount Tam and has been, she's paid her Mount Tam dues and has been for years. We just wonder, does it take a certain amount of time to get from, yes, I paid my dues, to, yes, I'm a member of this? Or is it the person, is it person A? Are they supposed to do something to get their name on Mount Tam? Or we don't understand how it works.
Okay, so really quick for membership, for all of you who don't know, that's a good question, Patricia. For person A, when they renew their dues, you should see them in the global directory. Okay, so
Mhm.
person A's name should appear in the global directory. So that's
Right.
proof that they paid. Now, to put them in the Mount Tam group is up to the membership. Membership now
Ah.
need to move them from the global group to the Mount Tam group. Okay.
I see.
I mean, and also another thing that the individual person A can do in her profile, we should say there's men too, in his or her profile, she can designate who's her primary chapter. Now you'll have plural members, okay?
Right.
I could be San Diego chapter and then Mount Tam, but I indicate San Diego as my main one. But
Right.
however, you
Yeah.
put me in Mount Tam, I'm here in Mount Tam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Did
All
I
right.
answer the question? So there's a global and then then it drills down.
Right. Okay. But it's membership's chairman.
A membership chairman has the
Oh.
ability to do that.
Mhm.
Also
Okay.
presidents do too. And I have the ability to do it. So if you guys have any issue, let me know and I'll do it for you.
Well, we
okay.
did have one other thing, and that was, we had a person who said, who's contacted us
Mhm.
personally about joining Mount Tam, and we said, oh, yes, and you know, we on the website you can click. She said, I did go to the website, but they made me and went down through California
Mhm.
chapters to find your chapter. And when I went to click on it, it came up that I had to join Google. And she said, I don't want my information on Google. So she said I couldn't go through. And
Okay, so I don't know what that's about, to be honest. So I tell you what, Patricia, can we talk? Okay. All right. And I know, why don't we, I'm gonna put your name down, Mount Tam. Okay. And who's your membership person?
my membership person is Janet Swing.
Okay. Janet Swing. Okay. Membership. Okay. So you're president. Mount Tam. Is anyone else having a problem here? Regarding the issue? Because it should not have required you to go to Google. So I'll tell you what, can we talk offline and take a look at it?
Sure, absolutely.
If it sounds like an issue that's related to that person's laptop or access.
Okay.
Okay. So if it does impact a lot of the chapters, then we'll bring it up for next month. Okay. All right. So for Sheryl Forster's sake, see, Mary Jackson from Salt Lake City, she's on there. And then from Hawaii, we have several people.
Oh, wait a minute. Whoa. Yeah, I was looking for, is it Patricia Redford is Aloha what?
Aloha chapter. But we have Joan Kull, right?
Yeah, Joan Koo. Yeah.
Joan Koo. And
How do you
then
spell that?
KUH.
Oh, KUH. Okay.
KUH from Aloha chapter.
Okay.
And is that Patricia sitting next to you?
Yes. Yeah. This is Patty. She's our treasurer and membership.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Okay. And then we got everybody else, right? I just wanted to, and then Debbie, Deetra, which chapter are you with, Deetra?
Pacific Northwest.
Pacific Northwest. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
My other question is, Juana and Susan, what are your last names?
My last name, Juana, is Pearly, Perley.
Okay, thank you.
And my last name is Susan Sharp, SHARP, no E.
Okay,
Okay, great. Thank you.
got that. And Mary Jackson,
This was
it
Salt Lake,
it just says SL.
Salt Lake chapter.
Oh, Salt Lake. Okay, thank you.
Right. And then we have, let's see, we got Susan Riley. You got that? Why don't you look in the participants list, Cheryl, and I'll have all everybody else's there too.
Okay, will
Okay.
do.
So it
Thanks.
should be 18 people. All right, thank you. So, okay, we'll get, oh, so for all the other chapter board members, if we find, again, find that what's Mount Tam, what's impacting Mount Tam and impacting you, I'll let you know. Okay, we'll have this on the next meeting. Okay, so another possibility while Juana and I are working on needlepoint.org about storing all your files, I don't know if you heard of the IO group. Okay.
Mhm,
And then I will share, let me share the screen
mhm.
with the IO group. Let me see. It's free. There's different levels of freedom. If more like any other things, they would like to, they give you a limited, let's see. Oh, stop sharing. Okay. I don't know why it's not doing that IO group. Let's see. Because I belong to that, and it's called Groups.io. I'm sorry. It's Groups.io. And for those who don't know, there is it's like a whatchamacallit, Google Groups and also Yahoo Groups.
Yes.
When Yahoo Groups disbanded, they went in here. I did when
I didn't know that.
teachers of yeah. They didn't find, I'm sure because it wasn't profitable. But here you have, for a free version, you obviously have limited, but it does hold minutes. It does, and now it's available to everybody. Okay, so that the thing is, when you pay a premium, you'll have these neat features of subgroups and subdirectories and stuff like that. But it even does a calendar. Again, you would have to manage it by inviting members, having members come in, things like that. Now, this is free. So it's not the most intuitive thing, but if you're looking for free, I don't think, you can't complain too much. But you can, like I said, you can actually do a poll, just in a limited faction. You can add, let's just say I want to add a new file. I just do it. I can upload a file, browse, drag something in here, delete files. If I want to do a booklet, let's say I want to do this, open, here, and then add, name it, add anything I want. And there you go. It should be adding. I don't know why. It's not adding. So it's just taking a while. So right now it's taking a while. So there you go. Booklet is in here.
Yeah.
If I don't want it, I can just delete it. Do I notify the members? No, I don't want to tell them about that.
Where it says 2020 booth projects, we could put in workshops and things that we're having to make them aware for other chapters that might want to join us.
Sure, you could do that. I even have photos in here. You can add photos in here. We were doing some crazy stuff. This is just for we're doing a presentation. And you can also do albums. Like I had a thing, right? So like anything else, we were doing some. These are free. Well, in any case, this is for the fair, and then we again, so you can have different projects.
Yeah, like a class or something.
Yeah.
Is this only open to ANG?
No. This is a free thing for everybody.
For everybody, yeah.
For everybody. It's called Groups. It's called Groups
Publicize thing.
IO. Here, let me, it's called Groups IO. Okay, and these are all the groups I've selected. These, you can find or create a group and it'll tell you what it is. Publicly listed groups, you have to be invited to it. So it's a closed system. Okay, and when you, of course, purchase anything, you'll have the ability to provide, you know, certain access even within this, in this group. Do I mean? Right now it's available to everybody. So it might be a little hard if you want to do a workshop, but you have non-members, you put the workshop on
Right.
there. Even non-members can see all your past newsletters unless you buy a premium. So that's how anything is, you know, they want you to buy their product. But for the simple ones of just doing membership, you know, the last 7 years, do you really want to, it's up to you. Does your chapter want to spend money maintaining a Dropbox? Because someone would, I'm going to close this out now. Would someone want to share? Someone has to manage the Dropbox, you know, someone has to pay for it. But I'm hoping that needlepoint.org is a lot better because it's just for needle pointers. And then you have to share the password, the groups IO, to the next board of directors. Whereas in needle pointers, you don't. The changeover will come when you put in a new car. So in any case, but that is, that's a couple options, you know. You could pay for it and here's a free version. And that's for the quick and dirty. Any questions about that? Okay, so we'll get back to when Juana and I have our thing. And of course, anyone else who wants to check it out with us, you know, you're welcome to come on board. All right, so I've been getting a lot of interesting questions from different chapters. I'm not going to state the specific issues of each chapter. However, if the chapter board member here would like me to specifically talk about the you know, give out the fine details, let me know or chime in. Okay. All right. But we've had a couple questions about liability insurance. Apparently several chapters here, and I don't know if they're being represented here. No, maybe not. Okay. So they may not be speaking to this. A couple chapters have now been requested in order to reserve, and this is at their old places, now being requested to provide liability insurance.
Yeah.
Okay. Has any of the other chapters experienced that?
We have.
Only,
We have liability insurance through
Who's it?
United States Liability Insurance Company, Baltimore, Maryland. And our agent is a guy named Al Ziedler Insurance Agency. And we've had to have insurance at every single place that we've ever met.
Is this
No one has ever said, oh, you can come and just meet here.
Okay, who's speaking? Oh, Patricia? Oh, okay.
yeah, so we've had to have liability insurance when we've had retreats at certain locations. That's the only time. But currently, this is Joan from Honolulu.
Okay,
with
Joan.
Bradford. Yeah, so that's the only time they've had, well, that was more for a shop, but yeah, I should retract that. That's only when that was a different situation.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Did we have to have liability for our retreat? No. At Windward? No. Yeah,
Okay.
never mind. Yeah.
I do know of a chapter in the northern part of this upper states, I won't say which state, are now being requested by the regular facility to purchase, and they have looked at probably $500 a year for $1 million policy. Now, this chapter happens to be incorporated and have an EIN number. I do not know how much the insurance company would charge you if you cannot prove you're a nonprofit. Okay, so that's a different story altogether. Now, San Diego chapter, which has an EIN number, we have a nonprofit status. I believe we were paying like $250, $300, but that was like 6 or 7 years ago. So $1 million policy, another member was saying they're in an insurance business, and they said $500 would be about the right amount of money. They're not going to look for anything less than that. So, or she doesn't think that you would be quoted any less than that for $1 million policy. So, I just wanted to let you be aware as we're transitioning back to in-person meeting, that your facilities that you used to go to, churches, the hotels, wherever, may be requesting for liability insurance, maybe. Okay, so something to go back and be aware of.
Shirley?
Yes.
Um,
Who's this?
If you
say your
remember, if you
Cheryl?
remember, yeah, if
Okay.
you remember back in, what was it, your first meeting, January? We had
Mhm.
somebody here from Roadrunner in Arizona. She wasn't
Right.
specifically talking about a liability insurance policy, but where they were meeting, they were required to have a release
Right.
the facility, and they also chose to have somebody write it up because they would have the chapter released from any liability.
Thank you
Uh,
for the reminder, Cheryl. Thank
And
you.
this,
You're right.
this recently happened with a quilting group up here that was meeting at a church. And no liability or anything else. It's a I don't even know if they have nonprofit status, to tell you the truth, but apparently one of the members that attended became ill, and we don't know whether it was from that meeting or someplace else. And she's now filed a lawsuit against the chapter and also the church. So it's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. So thank you for reminding me on that one, Cheryl.
Yeah.
Your Roadrunner did actually send along a template
Yeah.
of their liability form, and I did upload it on the Google Drive. So I will do it again, because I know needlepoint.org. Yeah, this is the sucky thing. When I send things out, unfortunately the attachments, you can't download it. It's just like you can do screenshots, but but I'll send out the link again. So now I put everything on a shared drive so you can download the actual templates. So the liability, the waiver is there, and they were very generous in sharing that. Thank you, Cheryl. That was very important.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I think this is going to be the norm going forward.
I think so too. So at least you'll have something in your fingertips that you can customize. Hopefully, now the liability form was accepted by that hotel, but
Well,
it's
how,
not, the church may not accept it. Do I mean? But
Yeah.
at least you have a template. It's a good starting point.
Yes.
So, okay.
can I ask a question related to that? So
Oh,
what
Patty?
happens if you
Or Joe?
have them sign a release form prior to, joining the chapter, releasing the chapter in the meeting place of any responsibility or
Right.
liability for, is that an alternative versus
Won't do you no
purchasing
good when it
insurance?
comes right down to it.
It might be in addition, because the church may say, oh, that's great, but we still want you to have insurance.
I see.
Okay, so you may want to try this way first and see if the meeting place host is comfortable with that.
Okay.
Okay, but it's really up to that vendor, the facility vendor. They may say, that's great, but I want both. Or that's great, and that's all I need then. Okay, now when Tucson did this, they actually did it in fall of 2020, before the vaccines came out, or something like that. And that's what the hotel required, but they did not require them to have their very small chapter to have any liability insurance. So at least in Tucson, it worked for them. So let's hope it works for you guys. So another one is we're going to go down to vaccination requirements. I just got this the other day from another chapter who I don't think is represented here. So I'm not comfortable sharing all the details. So let me just suffice to say, in a general term, that we're going to have an in-person stitch-in. And so they as a board and all the members agreed in order to attend the in-person stitch-in, everyone had to be vaccinated and show proof of vaccination. They actually put it on the registration form.
That's
And
okay, I can retire.
Huh? Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just said I could retire. I'm not getting the vaccine.
Oh,
Vaccination.
okay. Okay, so on the registration form, they did put down that you have to have a vaccine and a card. And so and then apparently the registration is also open to non-members as well. So they had a non-member file a complaint to them, and they're going to complain to National apparently that it was a discrimination against them.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so I'm not.
Nothing.
I know I dabble in the law as HR manager, but it's not a protected class. Vaccinations. I'm vaccinated or not vaccinated. It's not under ageism, race, sex, creed. So it's not under any of those federal laws.
Yeah.
I looked at, and of course, sexism or ageism. Come on, look at all over the age of 40. I looked in the CDC guidelines, and where I live in California guidelines, there's nothing to say that we, for private groups, that we cannot impose a greater, they said be mindful of, who you're sitting with, 6 feet apart or whatever, but they didn't say you could not impose and require a vaccination card. Okay. And of course, in this stitch-in, we're not providing an essential service. All right. The woman had not even lost any money. And if she didn't do this project, it's not like preventing medicine, right? So she could still do it. So what I'm, yes, Victoria.
What about religion?
Religion is also a protected class, I believe. So
Because I know like at schools, people can say they're not vaccinating their kids due to their religious beliefs.
yeah, but that's a school though. And that's a required element for kids to go to school. We're not requiring anything. We're not like an essential service. That's the difference.
So because we're not an essential service, we can demand that everyone be vaccinated? Is that what you're saying?
No,
Well,
it's an optional, it's an
No.
optional activity. This is a hobby.
Right.
It's not like you have to go to school or whatever. It's an optional activity and anyway, yeah.
So so I'm a little confused. So we don't have to require everyone to have a vaccine, or this allows us to?
This allows you to do so if you want to.
If
Now,
you want to.
If you want to,
Membership says
the
so.
chapter should obviously look at the CDC guidelines and the guidelines of your own state. And frankly, with the variants out there, yes, as Patty said, or is it Joan? This is not an essential activity that will hurt anybody. By preventing children from going to school, you're hurting their education. Okay. And also a lot of schools are paid by taxes. This is not paid by taxes. This is it's a hobby, it's an optional thing. So
Shirley?
Yes.
I'm sorry, it's Juana. I just want to point out that if the whatever chapter decides, let's say, to go with, oh, you can't attend unless you're vaccinated, that they could end up losing members.
Boy, could they.
They could. What I'm saying,
and that's a drawback. So it's just a FYI.
Exactly.
But there's always Zoom. You could lose members also. I know in our chapter, there are people that say, if we're not going to require vaccination, I'm not coming.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
There's the other side of the coin.
both ways. Well, I'm saying you have to discuss as a chapter how you want to proceed. Okay, so that's what you do. Patricia.
We do have to be careful, though, that anything that we decide, we don't lose our nonprofit status. As you were very rightly saying, there's a lot of things that are not covered under federal law, but we still have to be careful on things that we decide that
Need some help?
you have to do this or that or something else to come to meetings or belong or whatever. We
I
don't
get
want to
that,
do
Patricia.
anything that jeopardizes our nonprofit status or the nonprofit status of ANG.
Well, again, if you were to read the nonprofit status and the discrimination with the federal law, Patricia, there's nothing in there to indicate about vaccinations. or
About
no-
vaccinations, absolutely.
Right. We're not discriminating against because they're, you know, a different sex
Mm-mm,
or
that's right.
color, religion. We don't care what religion you are.
Right,
You know, or, you know, we don't really care. It has nothing to do with any of those protected classes.
that's true.
And
And-
I know we want to be, yes, Jan.
Well, I was just gonna say, California has a few extra protected classes
Mhm.
than is in the federal law. So, you know, but you can't invalidate the nonprofit charter by requiring something that is not included in the protected classes. So I think what Shirley is saying is
Exactly.
that because vaccination is not a protected class,
Mhm.
we will not place national or our local chapters at risk if we decide that that's right for our chapter.
Right.
You know, ours, it has been fascinating to me that people that I didn't think would get vaccinated have gotten vaccinated, and we're excited about the day we can get back together again. And in fact, are beginning to do some in-person stitch-ins as of Monday of this week. But we've not been able to get back into our meeting space just yet.
Mhm. I mean, thank you, Jan, for eloquently saying that. I know, like in California, I think they added sexual orientation and things like that. But again, vaccination is not a protected class. What it means for each individual chapter as a board is that you decide what you want to do, but I don't want you to decide thinking that you're being threatened this way, right? So make a decision based on the facts and what's best for your chapter. Pat is right, and as well as, you know, Juana, one side or the other, you're going to push, you know, people out, and there's no way around it. So you have to, so I'm not telling you as a chapter what to do, but at least you know what your parameters are. Okay. And you'll probably have more of that conversation as we start transitioning and more people getting vaccinated. Yes, Susan.
There are occasionally people who bring up HIPAA concerns. This is not at all affected by them. We are not a medical facility. We are not releasing personal data. So it's very clear that if anybody wants to claim HIPAA, they have no standing whatsoever.
Thank you, Susan. I forgot about that. That's true. People
Yeah.
keep thinking, throwing out HIPAA. It really is only related to medical facilities. You know,
Yep.
we're nothing like that. You know, so really, honestly, it's not going to be an easy thing to transition. You know, we have, people are still grappling how we're going to come back and in what form and what manner and how comfortable we are. So, but I felt it was important to at least start the discussion, even if it may be down in the holidays, you know what I mean? To see how it goes.
Shirley?
So, yes, Cheryl.
You know, one thing that we decided in our last chapter meeting is we have a lot of people that are now out of area or who do not drive at night, and they've been attending the Zoom meetings. So we are actually, when they go back to in-person, we're going to conduct a simultaneous Zoom meeting for those people so that we can retain them. So, you know, the person that maybe isn't vaccinated has the option of attending Zoom. Or we might be able to say that while you're in attendance in the meeting that you wear a mask.
Right.
You know, I mean, there are a lot of ways to be inclusionary.
Exactly. Or, you know, thank you so much, Cheryl. And that's one of the things I was going to bring up actually next month. So maybe we should take the opportunity to talk about now is that, you know, the churches and the regular halls that we're used to going back to, But we have got comfortable on Zoom. At least I know that in San Diego chapter, we've garnered so many people throughout the country. And we do have 2 people from our board that's from 2 different states. So we will have to go back to that. Yeah, so yeah, one from Boston, San Diego from Boston, and one from Texas. So you're going to have to look at, you may end up having to pay a little bit more, because if the church is putting in an internet access, someone, they may charge more. I have a feeling a lot of the churches or the places that didn't have those access, but during pandemic realized they should have, they may put that in there now. So for those who are doing Zoom, I really highly recommend that. Also, it will dissipate the complaint saying, well, you can't force me, but as Sheryl aptly said, we're going to still have inclusion by having Zoom meetings.
Right.
Right? You cut away their now in-person stitching. I don't know if the teachers are willing to do a dual thing. They could do Zoom and an in-person teaching at the same time. That's another option on the table that you may want to think about, and again, it's another way to be inclusionary. And then wearing masks or no masks. So it's not a one answer fits all for all chapters. It's really, having that mindset, what's going to be happening. Any other comments or discussion on this issue? You guys brought up some really good points.
Shirley, one of the things that we found is through Zoom, our chapter is not real big. We've been able to afford instructors who live somewhere else in the country that we would not be able to afford otherwise if we were paying travel and lodging and that sort of thing. And we've also seen much better participation. You can actually see what's going on better than you can in person.
Right. And you can pass those savings along too.
Yes.
Really benefit the members. So it's something, I think the pandemic has really showed us different ways to conduct our business. It's really kind of fun. Of course, we desperately want to get back. There's no way, but maybe we can do it in hybrid, So are there any other issues you want to bring up? Yes, Pat.
I tried to register for virtual seminar.
Okay.
For 4 days. I tried my computer, I tried my phone, and never could get it to take. Kept on telling me I hadn't done the ticket. So, and I couldn't find a ticket. So anyway, I finally on Monday called National and got into the seminar thing, and she helped me and she got me registered for the classes I wanted to register. And then she said, oh, by the way, are you trying to register on a Mac? And I said, yes. And she said, oh, it's not working very well.
Yes.
Hello. And I'm just saying that, okay, 50% of the people have a PC and 50% of the people have a Mac. But if we're trying to get people to register virtually, you're knocking out half the people because some people aren't going to pick up the phone and bother.
Okay.
And I think they need to get whatever's wrong, they need to get it fixed. And I can also on their website, I can go onto the ANG website. I can get to the site. I can do all that. I can also get to all the other things like, classes, distance learning and all that kind of stuff. I can get everywhere. I try and go into your thing, Shirley, my messages, and all it does is spin, repeat, goes blank, comes up, goes blank, comes up, goes blank. And the same thing is happening on my phone.
Okay.
I can get all the other places on the website, but I can't get your messages. I had to call Brenda tonight and say, send me Shirley's login to this meeting because I can't get in to the national site. So I'm just saying, they said it's going to close June 16th. They need
Okay,
to get it fixed.
Can I say something? Can
Yeah,
I say, so I was having the same problem recently, up till exact same problem. Can get to the website as soon as I click on my profile, bing, bing, bing.
yeah.
okay,
So this is a new problem and I don't know what they've changed. But
Okay,
to hear you now, but the other thing is they told me to use another browser besides Safari and that did
Yes.
fix the problem.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay, so
girl,
you know what would
something-
be nice though, if they told me.
Yeah, use Google.
You know what I mean? So, don't, so the moral of the story is don't use Safari browser.
That's
Oh,
right.
Screwed.
please.
Okay, so,
The moral of the story is they need to fix their website so it works with all the browsers.
I
Yeah.
agree, because it did
Yeah.
up until recently.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
worked just
No,
fine.
mine didn't.
Last meeting, Shirley, I was
No.
able to get your messages.
That's it.
This
Okay, so
month,
let me-
I was not.
okay, for someone who's talking, Juana, can you mute if you're talking? Oh, all right, so, okay, so let me come fix website. I'm writing down right now, fix websites. Okay, Safari browser issues and Mac users. Okay, so the person who's telling you she was the head, what's her name again? The head of the group that we hired. Do you remember her name?
I don't remember her name.
A Mac user.
She was very helpful and very nice. I'm not
Okay.
complaining at all because I got the classes I wanted and I solved my
Okay.
problem by phoning.
All right,
but-
so but how many people are gonna bother to phone like you did?
Yeah.
Matt? You
Exactly.
might have lost a lot of people.
And that costs that costs A&G money and it makes the seminar not so successful.
Exactly. So I'll email them a list of things and I'll add that in there as
Yeah,
well.
they
I
need to
also
get it.
have a quarterly report. I will also email them the same thing as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Quarterly report.
Mhm.
Issue. Thank you for bringing that up. Are there any other issues I should be aware of? So I'm gonna have a long email to National.
I just have one question that I
Yes.
forgot to ask last month. And you said
Uh-huh.
I should reach out, but we're interested in having that person who lectured on the history of ornaments at the White House.
You know, I've asked a couple
That's-
times. I forgot.
That's Brenda Ramsdale.
Oh, Brenda Ramsdale. There's Brenda.
Brenda's right
Brenda.
there.
Yeah, where is she?
This is
Brenda,
the
wave your hand.
Brenda
We would be-
Ramsdale.
Yeah, we would be very interested in listening to that lecture if you're available via Zoom, of course. You can, I don't know how to get in touch with you or.
Brenda, can you put in the chat your email address? Brenda Ramsdale's with William Met. This is the Aloha chapter in Hawaii. So maybe they can
Yeah.
fly to Hawaii. So I'm just kidding. So
Yeah, yeah. We like the option of remote, cheaper, you know. There's a lot of people who are very interested in hearing that lecture, if it's available. Yeah.
okay. And Brenda, for anyone else, hopefully your browser is working, but in needlepoint.org, there is a directory. You can always look for somebody as well if it's not here. Brenda, yeah, she's in her chat. What her email is, just look at
Can
the
you
chat.
see that? Sure.
Oh,
Jay.
Yeah.
JRamsFan@AOL.com.
Okay, Patricia.
Is there any chance at all? I know you've been able to put things on YouTube. Is there any chance that the lecture could be done on YouTube so that we could all play it for our various?
Oh my God.
That is so far above my technical ability. But I will ask my 30-year-old daughter who's here with
Oh,
COVID for a year.
There you go.
We can,
Okay.
I know you can record our Zooms. I just don't know after that. So
Brenda,
Shirley,
let me
when you
tell you-
record your Zooms, where do they go?
So what I do, Brenda, is when I record on the Zoom, I download it onto my desktop as a MPV, as a file, MPV file, and then I just rename it because it gives it a goofy name. And what I have a YouTube channel that I post up and send the link to everybody. Okay. Now, if you'd like to, the Aloha chapter, if you have this through, are they gone already?
No, we're here. We're here.
Okay, so if you want to invite me and make me a co-host, I can help you record the Zoom and
Okay.
depending if I'm available, and then post it on my YouTube channel.
Great.
And then
Thank you.
send out the link to all 29 chapters, and they can show it as, you know, to their chapter members of the program. Brenda, are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's just great. It's about a 10, what is it, Pat? 10, 15 minutes. It's
15
about
minutes.
35 slides. And yeah.
Do you have this?
Our chapter has a very short attention span.
Well,
Just stand.
So, Brenda,
Try and punch it up.
so hold on quickly, Brenda, do you have slides on a PowerPoint?
Where are they? No, they're not on a PowerPoint. No, they're just in a folder. But I can
Okay,
probably,
so-
once again, with that techie daughter.
Why don't you have her put it on a PowerPoint slide? The
Okay.
PowerPoint slide, and I'll show you how to play the PowerPoint slide while you give your presentation. It'll be recorded, and it's going to look fabulous. Trust me on this. Okay? So let me write that down, Brenda. And
Okay.
then
What about financial compensation for such expertise?
Yes.
Brenda, did you want to get a stipend for chapters who would like to give Brenda a stipend?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It was a personal thing that I did, and you'll see why when you see all of that. And so it was just a really fun project. And so we'll try to glam it up a little bit because it was the first thing I did. So some of the pictures are a little small. Some of them are because I was screenshotting, you know, I'm taking everything off the internet. And
Okay.
so, yeah, maybe we'll clean it up and make it fun. It was actually really fun. And I think everybody really enjoyed it because
Everybody
it's
did.
pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah. And you probably know half the people that put those ornaments on those trees. So that's even cooler.
Oh.
Maybe you could name them or give them credit who did that. You
Yeah,
know,
we
the
were able to
thing-
track a lot down and then a lot. I only had about 3 weeks of notice. So with more notice, I could have probably asked, you know, all the designers like Melissa Shirley, all these people did ornaments.
Well, but the
Um,
thing is, we need to look into the White House ornaments was highlighted in, I believe, 2001 ANG book, ANG magazine.
We
and the
have
reason
that.
I know is-
I have that magazine. And
right. And so can you want to connect with the original author because they would have the photos of it and the connection.
Yeah.
The thing about this presentation Brenda did though, yes, those trees that the ANG was involved are in the presentation, but she goes back to Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Christmas
Oh,
tree.
Yeah.
She goes
Okay.
back to, you know, Harding's Christmas tree. You know, these are pictures that most of us haven't seen in our magazine. And it's sort of the history of the Christmas tree in the White House. And it builds up to when we got involved donating ornaments. And amazingly, we got quite a number of our friends who put ornaments on that tree to send us pictures of their ornaments. And that's in Brenda's presentation. So we got some of those too.
Sure. So whatever you guys want to do, it's just that sounds fantastic. So if people would like to send Brenda a stipend, it's between
No, I
I think
don't need a
light-
stipend. Just go have a drink while you're watching it. So it will look really good.
No,
Get that
Shirley,
beer off.
no,
You can't
no,
see, I've got a beer off camera here.
no.
But I do have one question. If we could kind of go back to this vaccine, just a show of hands, have your boards kind of discussed yet when you go? We're right at the point where we're thinking we're going to go back in person probably August, September. We usually take the summer off anyway. Has anybody had their board members or boards now looking into, will we have this discussion?
Not yet. Maybe next meeting we will
Okay.
know. Yeah.
Okay,
Or maybe by
Teresa,
next meeting. Okay.
hold on. Teresa Frank has her hand up. Teresa, why don't you tell us what your discussion has been centering
Well,
on?
our next chapter meeting is next Monday, and it's one of the things on my agenda because our meeting location is just going to start opening up this month. We're going to Zoom this month, and I'm going to poll the membership to see if they're even ready to meet in person. The church, I think at this point is still requiring masks, but that is, ever changing, just like everything else. And we're probably going to ask our membership to make sure that they're vaccinated, but it's all going to be part of our discussion next Monday. So that's just my share.
Okay, thank you, Teresa. So it looks like the rest of everyone else have not started the conversation yet. So maybe it's, we're starting to open up. So I'm glad I got you at a time that we can start thinking about it, or seeing what issues are coming up so far. Well, that's really good. Yes, Teresa.
Yeah, one other thing that is coming up for Olympic is we have an in-person workshop coming up in August that was postponed from August of 2020. And we are bound and determined that this is going to be an in-person workshop. And right now we have 20 people per workshop. It's two classes back to back with a day in between. And yeah, it's a full week of classes, and we have people on the wait list right now also. And so this is all going to be part of the discussion. So
good. I'm glad we helped out, adding to that. All right, so it's now 7:13, it's past our hour. Next month, I wanted to ask the group, do you want to meet next month? I have some ideas, but before I do, I want to see, is there anything we want to focus on? How do you like this time slot? Opening this up.
Time slot is perfect, and maybe I'll learn to use this eventually. But yeah, one thing then next month we could talk about is our first meetings. Theoretically, we meet January through October. We're only dark in November and December, since those are such busy times for people anyway. And it's liable to be bad weather and bad traveling and stuff. So, but we're very excited. You're here in California, Shirley, so we're supposed to open up the 15th. So we're planning on having our meeting on June 19th. We have not heard from our facility yet that is not going to happen.
Okay, so my question to you, I'm sorry, I didn't for the June meeting for Western Area Rep, we want to talk about how to get back into meeting. I'm sorry, am I missing something?
Right, or the people who have already started meeting, what have they found? Have they found
so the
any
follow-up.
Because I'm interested in the things that other people are doing and what they're finding out, so that I don't have to constantly, develop the wheel.
Okay, so what we're going to do is next month is follow up to see if any chapters have had in-person meetings, what their challenges are, what successes they have, and then we share that to help each other open up more. What resistance, things like that. So we could do that. Any other ideas for next month?
Yeah. How to upload the documents we talked about to the A&G website.
Yes, we'll follow up on that with Juana. Okay, so needlepoint.org, how to upload.
Yes.
Okay, on how to upload. Okay, here's a couple items we don't have to do it next month. Some chapters have expressed an interest. Oh wait, some chapters, I was going to have whoever chapters are coming to do breakout rooms. I would have one breakout room for all membership chairs to talk about how, you know, what their way is to, their best practices in alerting members to renew and what challenges they have. Another breakout room is, you know, for program chairs to see how to do programs, not pre and post and pandemic, share those ideas, something like that. So that was one idea I had. And that way all the people with the needs can meet with each other. Another idea I had was that for any chapters, then that's another meeting, interested in getting a nonprofit status, I was thinking around August, we can break up whatever chapters are, we can break up by states, because each state is different and different requirements.
Yeah.
And I would like to ask the chapters who have the EIN numbers, help share along what they have to do, their requirements for that particular state. And then if people are interested, I'll have my daughter, who is the IRS agent, appear and do a quick run through how to apply for an EIN number through the IRS, if anyone's interested. So that was an idea. Now you can shoot it all down, and then we can have a break from having our meetings. And then someone is asked to have a meeting just to sit and stitch and get to know each other. We can do an icebreaker.
Okay.
Or no icebreaker, and just get, you know, a chance to know each other more, and, you know, and know each other across the Western area. All right, so that's the third idea. So think about it. You know, let me know what your ideas are. I'm going to pose it out in the next message that poor Pat may or may not get, or whoever's Patricia getting spinny thing may or may not get. I'm hoping that will work out. Okay, so think about that. Those are 3 ideas are in my head, and if you guys don't like them, just tell me and we won't bother. But I hope the meetings have been, you know, good for you guys so far. These meetings.
Yes, thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Very.
Yeah. And it's supporting, that's what I want to do, is this be a supportive time for all of
Yeah.
you.
Mhm.
Okay. Because it is challenging. I know that. So there's anything else for the good of the meeting? Anything else you want to add? No? Okay, then we're going to try again 6 o'clock. Hopefully we get more people. Thank you so much. You know, see you next month. We will do a follow-up on the things we talked about, okay?
Okay.
Wanda?
Are you
Right.
leaving? or
Shirley.
staying there?
We're leaving. I'm going to close the meeting. Unless
Okay.
anybody else has anything to say?
No.
Not that? Okay, Wanda, I'll call you next couple days, okay?
Okay,
Oh,
all right, bye.
Bye. I'm in a meeting right now. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.